It's even morning. It's really middle of the night here. We fell asleep early, so now I'm up before 3 a.m. How you doing, Cooper? She was awake editing when I woke up, and now she finally went to sleep again. But I'm wide awake. Got some Capico Black 3-in-1. Just another day. Yep. Hopefully it's going well for you. They're doing well, I believe. Part of the reason I got up was to shoot Chip some information about the vet stuff and text my vet. I'm probably going to call him in a little bit. I texted him already, but I figured I'd give him a while to chew on what I sent, and then I would call the vet once they got themselves situated a bit. So, trying to get everything actually moving, and we still need to go look at the place that we appear to have found to move to, but the lady that's going to show it to us, they had a second motorcycle accident a couple days ago, so she's not feeling great. Am I a woman? No, Valak, I'm not a woman. Greetings from Czechoslovakia. So, but hopefully the place pans out. We haven't seen pictures inside yet, and the pictures we had were before a contractor went in and did some work. Sounds like maybe even outside, so you don't know these days. Well, if you say so. But it's only 15,000 pesos a month, so not much more expensive than here price-wise, although then we've got to cover our own internet and water separate, so and there's no air conditioning, so we've got to buy our own aircon and put into it, which I'm not real excited about, but for the price, it's a pretty amazing deal, and that's one of the few places we found that, so far anyway, that allows dogs. Seems like most of the places that are remodeled for Western standards don't allow dogs. We did find one, but it's an apartment or townhouse or whatever you want to call it. I think it's really more an apartment than a townhouse. But it doesn't have a big yard and stuff like this other place does. So we're checking into that. Hit the like, guys. Subscribe if you're new. It's not even 3 a.m. in the Philippines yet. Three in one. I feel like that's very weak. Usually I would have Death Wish, but figured I would just basically have something hot in case I wanted to go back to sleep later. And this stuff is definitely on the weak side. I like the Capico Blanca better, but we have this, so I need to use it up 253 to be exact. That's your area code. I live in the Philippines now. I'm from the US. Oh, 254. Yeah. To be exact. Who's counting? So let's see. I had looked at it, but I was mostly asleep, so let's see what my hours are at. 1,882 out of 3,000. Woohoo! Moving up. Turn that off. It'll be nice when we finally get there. I heard a tinkling sound from it. I wondered if she had started up her piggy bank live. But no, I think it's dripping on or into the water storage tank. Jasper's out in Boracay. Not easy to do much right now because it's been raining so strong lately. We did go out to Robinson's Mall yesterday. Wanted to take a look at prices on aircon, but I'm not sure what the square meters are in the house we're looking at. So I'm not sure if I need a 1.5, 2.5 horse. I don't know which one to buy, although there's recommended ones because the electricity is a little unstable in Valencia, and there's one of the brands has maybe more than one have it, but they don't call it out very much. Have built-in, real good built-in, basically stabilizer system for the power. Probably a power conditioner built into it to account for fluctuations up or down. And I think that one with install would be about 55,000 pesos, which isn't awful. But there are places out there that are renting for like 22 or 25,000 that have aircon. Now most of them say no dogs. We did find one that has one, but that's the apartment looking place. And so it doesn't have the yard. We're open to additional options, but a place that has a lot and a yard would be real helpful for a dog. I mean, I don't mind taking him for walks regularly. It gets me doing more exercise too, but it'd be nice if we can just hook him up to a cable outside and let him play as he wants, relatively speaking. And I got the one that's 15,000 pesos, has a 2-bedroom, 2-story Western style house, but also a more native style house that's like half concrete, half bamboo. And we would probably use that for like storage or interesting looking bug. Storage, or maybe a place to do streaming. It's got some trees on it, so that would be cool. I'm trying to keep it down since everybody else in the complex is sleeping. So I don't want to wake up Chi, I don't want to wake up our neighbors down there. Don't want to make a bunch of noise and wake up the owner. It's super early, so I didn't really expect too many people to be in here, but whoever's here, I appreciate it. Hit the like, subscribe. Oh man. Yeah, it's 2:59 a.m. I think I initially woke up at like 1:30 or 2. We fell asleep early, and then I woke up and she was awake editing, and then she finally fell back asleep. How's things going there, Jester? That gold search sure looks fun. That is something I would enjoy out there. Evander, how you doing, buddy? Super early for me. Make sure I'm not missing any messages. Chipper had messages earlier, didn't reply, probably went back to sleep. Yep, she's sleeping. I should be sleeping, but I think I fell asleep at like 8. So it's not like I didn't sleep. And since I'm retired, I can always go back to sleep later. I figured I'd just go ahead and get up and get some hours in, trying to grind away at these stinking watch hours. And since I was awake, it was a good time to try and get some comms going with the vet. My vet's kind of irritating the crap out of me, though, because they're not responding. So I don't know if they've decided they just don't want to play and they're not responding at all, or what. That would be not great if that happens, but we'll deal with it. Seems to be the way of things. I also have been trying to get my mom to put Google Chat, Google Meet, and YouTube on my dad's phone so that I can be sending him pictures and videos and voice or video call him through that instead of actual phone. And either she's busy, not feeling well, or just blowing me the fuck off. So I've actually been trying to get her to put those things on there on and off for damn near 3 years. So, and yes, I tried to do it when they were visiting a while back, but my sister talked them into getting iPhones, and so they don't remember their passwords. Hey Aileen, how you doing? And not only do they not remember their passwords, which would be easy to fix, but they don't know what their Apple ID pin or whatever is. So unless my sister has it written down somewhere, or they take it into the shop they got it from, they don't have their freaking Apple ID. So something as simple as installing YouTube is essentially impossible. Maybe they're bent that they came out here and don't really want to have a lot of communication. I'd rather have them just tell me that, so I'm not banging my head against the wall trying to get them to get it done. You don't want to talk? That's fine. Just fucking say so. You're adults. But I am trying to be in contact, and I'm trying to improve lines of communication, but whatever. It's amazing how many grown adults seem incapable of just basic, proper fucking communication skills. I mean, I'm not perfect on that myself either, but at least I've been for quite a long time trying to get it improved. 7 people, 5 likes. Hit the like, guys. Everybody's quiet this morning. Afternoon, evening, whatever time it is there. Probably still a bit early for Mark. He's 2 hours ahead of Philippines time, but it's only barely 5 a.m. there. Coffee. 3-in-1's actually really good. Took some relief from my knees and my shoulder. Life in the Philippines is going really well. I love it out here. If I look subdued or quiet, I'm not down, I'm not sad, I'm tired. It's early and I'm trying to be quiet because everybody else in the area is sleeping, so I'm just trying to keep my voice down. So that means I don't sound as excited as usual. But it's only 3 a.m. But I love it out here. I'm right about approximately 5.5 weeks. Finally got my watch adjusted yesterday again. It was maybe a little looser than this when I came out, but still relatively snug. And then I apparently lost a bunch of weight when I got out here because it was flip-flopping around. So I had another link taken out yesterday. I wanted to buy a tool so I could do it myself because I originally pulled the first links myself, but they're very protective of the tools, so I'm gonna have to go online and order it off Amazon or something, because they got quite a racket going at the mall. They would charge you 150 peso to remove a link. I'm like, it's probably that much for the tool. And that's good business for them. I understand it. No hate. Just I actually went into the Casio store and was like, "Hey, do you sell the link removal tool?" And they're like, "No service here, no service. Go over there." Okay, so I went over there. "Do you sell the tool?" Yeah. The guy's gone. When he comes back, "No, we only just do it." Okay, that would have been useful to know before now, so I could have ordered the tool myself. I didn't have the proper tool back home, but I did have my needle nose and miscellaneous little metal objects that I could use to push a pin out. So someday I'll have a lot of those things again, but for now I'm operating very minimalist, which is fine, just can be frustrating at times. Oh my goodness. Let's try that again. I'm trying to get it pinned. YouTube's being YouTube. There we go. Yes, message is pinned. Thank you, YouTube. As permanently as can be on a tourist visa until I can get my SRRV I can apply for that at the end of March when I turn 50. Yeah, you're welcome, Eileen. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for dropping a link. Kuya Hurt, how you doing, buddy? I'm here as permanently as possible, pending them approving visa extensions and eventually my SRRV. How are the loose ends going, Hurt? How many months? Laying the tile floor. Tourist visa can be up to 36 months currently. That may change. There were proposed changes. I haven't heard that that's been adopted yet. If it does get adopted, it would be implemented in like June of next year. But by then, compared in first visit and plan to stay. Yeah, I initially was planning a discovery trip, and once I found out I could sell my house, I just changed it to a straight move. So before it came, the visit was planned to be the move, pending obviously visa extensions. You can do up to 36 months on a tourist visa, but they'll probably start asking more questions like after a year or so. Like, why are you here so long? Why aren't you getting a proper visa? We'll see if the changes actually come about or not. But as it stands right now, up to 36 months on extensions, and then you have to leave for 24 hours, and then you come back in and start that again. Now the proposed changes, if adopted, could make it so that you could stay like 6 months, and then you would have to leave for a calendar year from basically the date of your exit. So that would change things for people a ton, but implementation for that would be like June, and as long as my tourist visa gets extended through the end of March, then I can apply for the SRRV, and hopefully I could get that done in a few months and have it in process. If it's processing, hopefully I would have a loophole there for staying if they implemented the changes, but those changes would be a very bad idea for how it would affect expats, and we bring millions and millions and millions of dollars into the Philippines every month. Oof. Yeah, that would super duper suck. For me, luckily I'm eligible in just a few months. I haven't seen any updates yet, and it was just speculation. Everything's been good. I did a ton of research before I came, so I knew what to expect. Nothing's really been a major shock for me. I'm already riding a motorcycle in traffic, doing just fine. I love the food. I knew I would, because I've always loved ethnic foods in general and Asian food. I lived in Hawaii for 3 years, which everybody's like, oh, that's still U.S. Yes, it's still Western, it's still U.S., but you're still a minority. The food is different. The pace at which things get checked out of line are different, so you have to learn a lot more patience than mainland US. There's a lot of differences in Hawaii than mainland. So a lot of skills I learned in Hawaii helped me here. Heck, driving in the dunes with no signs and no lights helped me adapt to traffic and driving here. Yes, I'm not at any point giving up my U.S. citizenship, so I will always be subject to filing U.S. taxes. Now, this first year will probably be a little tricky because I did work up until I left, basically, but now that I'm here, I'm on disability, which is untaxable, but I'm working on getting my YouTube monetized, so we'll see what it is for this first time that I file, but then the following years will probably be pretty low tax because most of my income is going to be disability money. I'm sure somebody at the I, the R, and the other letter S will be like, what the hell? Well, I've got disability money. I don't need to work on the hamster wheel anymore. Leave me alone. I do what I'm supposed to do. I've worked hard and paid for many years. And now I'm just gonna live a better life. Definitely adjusting good. I'm already not sweating much. It's like, what's the temperature here since my app decided to not fucking play? 77. Feels 77, 94% humidity. Sunrise will be at 5:36. Sunset will be at 17:45. So it was getting dark at like 6:30 or 6:20 when I got here, so that's definitely been getting earlier. I love the people, I love the food. Well, the intention is to get monetized with YouTube, so I'm still going to have to file. And even if you're not working, you think you still have to file to show that you don't have to pay anything, so it would be a very straightforward thing that I would probably just e-file and not even have to pay somebody to process anything because I wouldn't really have any numbers to put in. This first year I'll pay somebody, but we'll see. You know, maybe I never really make anything off YouTube, and that's fine because I'm not depending on it to be here. Alright. Fucking extension cord, get over there. But I'll still have to file, I'm sure. The nice thing is you can e-file, and you can do that for free even on their website, so it shouldn't be a big problem. It's going to be a remote of filing the tax. Yes, it would be remote. But I mean, a lot of people are e-filing anyway, which is remote filing even if you're in the US. What's the difference of filing it on a VPN from the Philippines or filing it on a VPN in Oregon State or Washington State? Really no difference. This first year I made sure to have, I've got the login information for the MyPay system from the shipyard, so I will be able to, well, not from the shipyard, from the Department of Defense, so I'll be able to log in, download my W-2s, and then I'll transfer those to H&R Block, and I'll have them do it the first year just to make it easier. Give me just this a little bit. It's tiny. So I don't want to have any issues, and if I end up doing anything on YouTube, then I'll still file through H&R Block because they've brought the prices way down. It used to be pretty expensive, but now it's a pretty low fee. So I'm a fan of using services to simplify things and make it easier to get things done. And then if there's something screwed up on it, then it's kind of on them. Kind of the same way I look at doing my VC extensions. I'd rather use a service. That way, if they goof something on the paperwork, they can take the ding for it. And it's super stressful because, and then if you mess something up on one of the blocks, then it throws the whole thing off. Then they can try and say that you were lying on your taxes, even if you weren't trying to lie on your taxes. So I'm just like, let the pros do it. They take the legal burden if there's a mistake. I mean, yeah, you sign it and stuff, but you're protected because you have a preparer doing it. So at least that may not do much for me here doing like visa extensions, but I feel like there's some amount of that too. But there's for sure legal protections in the U.S. Yeah, it's, I'll put out good information the best I can. If I don't know, I'm not going to claim that I know. Did you shit the bed? It's early as fuck. No, I just, we went to bed early, fell asleep. I woke up at like 1 something. She was editing videos. She's gone back to sleep. I decided to get up to try and get in touch with my vet. Do you believe in Jesus Christ? Yes. Lord and Savior? Yes. Am I born again? Yes. Charles Alvin? Really? Who the fuck are you? I mean, A, I avoid religion and politics on my channel. B, you didn't even come in and introduce yourself. You just start asking dipshit questions. So, thanks for timing him out for a minute, Kuya. Charles Alvin, if you want to stand here, just come in, introduce yourself. Hey, I just found you from the vertical feed or whatever. You don't come in and start giving demands or asking a ton of questions. It's, guess what? My relationship with God is my personal business, so get fucked. And that may seem wrong for somebody that's a Christian, but I was also in the Navy and around the Navy for basically 30 years. So I'm not a soft frickin' lefty. But yeah, I like one of my channels I really like. Obviously, I like Jasper in the Philippines, but I really like Overstay Road. And they just show like day-to-day life, and I like that. But we're also going to do a lot of travel stuff and scenery and restaurants and try and work on doing interviews at some point. So I've got my channel, she's got hers. We're keeping those separate but doing stuff together also. I don't need somebody coming to my YouTube door knocking, and really you didn't even knock, you just kicked in the door. Hey, what's your situation? How about go to hell? Let me deal with my personal relationship with God on my own. I'm good. Oh, the Philippines is gorgeous. The people are super friendly. Yeah, just another doofus, I agree. One of the best things I ever did was move out here. Could I have done it a little smoother if I waited a few more months? Yeah, but look at all the news. Look at all the stupid stuff happening, and there's a good chance they're going to do worse things before that one date in November, let alone if T-Man gets elected again. I still think they could try and pull a lockdown and or push us into WW3 or civil conflict. It's just there's so many angles they can use to block things, cause problems, and I was like, I just need to get to the flipping Philippines as quickly as possible before stuff gets crazy. Yeah, it's already getting crazy there, and it's just going to get worse. And it's not just going to be in the U.S. because they'll do what they can to destabilize other places. Because if they get us into a world war, then they don't even necessarily have to have. They can delay the selection, right? I was just burned out. It was time for me to get the hell out of there. But yeah, I just do my thing. I don't put on a fake face. I'm not going to be all, oh, I love all of you. You're great. Thanks for coming in, every single one of you. No, if you're stupid, you're going to get your ass banned. I don't give a shit. I don't have to do this. I do this because I want to do this. So I don't need to kiss everybody's ass. Either people like me and they support me or they don't. I'm good. Either way, I don't have to have this to stay here and survive. Does it? Could it make it a little smoother, a little more cush? Absolutely. But I'm not gonna sacrifice my authenticity for likes or views or whatever. Yeah, and that I used to worry about what people thought, and the Audio Slave song, Chris Cornell sang "Be Yourself" really hit home. If you haven't heard it, listen to it, watch the video. That was a big loss. That guy dying. I don't believe he or Chester Bennington, who were best friends, I don't think either one of those was suicide. They were working together. They were gonna expose a bunch of stuff. Look up pictures. Chester looks just like who probably his biological dad is. Um, I always forget that freaking guy's name, but it's one of Hillary's cronies. Mm. No, I gotta look it up, or it's gonna drive me nuts. How do I always forget the name? And right there's a picture. Usually I see the picture and I remember it. Yep. Nope. That's interesting. Podesta. John Podesta. Tell me that's not his dad. And Podesta's a frickin' peed. So, gee, I wonder where Chester's abuse came from. Thanks, alien. Interestingly, if you look at the logo used for Linkin Park, that little swirly doodad, that's one of the PED symbols. Look it up. It goes back to ancient times. And tinfoil hat word on the street was that Chester and Chris Cornell were working on, they were going to expose a bunch of stuff. So you look at the timing of that, and Mr. EpiPen had allegedly Epsteined himself, right? Interesting timing with everything. but both of them were amazing singers and helped a lot of people. Were they super squeaky clean? Probably not. Did they have drug problems? Yes. I don't know. I'm not saying he went to. I'm not saying Bennington went. No, Podesta, I'm sure went. Uh, Billary, I'm sure went often. But the timing of when EpiPen didn't off himself, and Chris Cornell dying, and Chester Bennington dying, suicide, I don't buy it for a second. Same thing with Avicii. Avicii was offed as well. There was a whole big movement to try and unearth things and help people and kids and people that survived abuse. And interesting that just boom, 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 they were not breathing anymore. But, you know, I should save that for when I can get Legend of Alexander on here and we can do another mukbang and conspiracy with Storm and Legend. But from the day it happened, I was like, especially, a lot of people don't pay attention to it. I forget which one died first. The other one died on the other one's birthday. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that just happened. Who would benefit? I wonder. Keep things quiet, Podesta. What do they have to do? Sacrifice. Podesta. On and on and on and on and on. Anyway, that's another topic for another day, but I get wound up about that because they're two of my favorite singers. And their music was known for helping people through rough times. Oh boy. Jinguriya Perwala. Hello. Hello, I'm sure you're from India. Please play a song of Get the Hell Out of My Chat. You don't come in and ask me to play a fucking song. Am I playing any music at all right now? No, I'm not. And a lot of music has copyright. So I can't just randomly play music constantly. I would love to play music constantly. I could entertain you guys with different music for days on end and talk about it too, because I am very big into music. But unfortunately, this platform doesn't let you play it. How about you just search it in YouTube and play it for yourself? I'm not going to play it on my channel because I don't know if it's copyrighted. So how about no? Ooh, play song of Sidu blah blah blah. How about you play it on your own fucking phone, dude? Man. Even though I'm a guy, I'm waiting for one of these jackasses to come in and ask me to show my feet. Or my armpit. That's a weird one. Ooh, show your armpits. Oh, that's so hot. Wow. Jump in one of the rivers and drink the water, you thirsty F. You know, and the rudest MFers out there, it seems like in these streams, are men from India. I'm sure there's great, nice ones, but the ones that come in the YouTube live streams are rude, thirsty, dirty creeps. And if that means I lose some viewers, that's okay. Because you're not really the kind of people I want in my stream anyway. Y'all need a different kind of red dot. That was my outside voice. Oops. My bad. These are fun. I like doing the live streams. Please, it's a. How about you spell rapper correctly, you idiot? Learn how to spell. That's not how you spell rapper, idiot. And no, I'm not going to fall for saying a word I'm not supposed to say, or that's going to get me flagged. Wow, people are stupid. What am I getting into today? That kind of is going to depend on how the weather is today. It's been rainy AF. Let's see. Looks at after 6 a.m. Let's see, that's temperature climbing. Looks like it's not really supposed to rain until 9. And then I'm showing rain basically from 9 a.m. almost until 9 p.m. Wow, Sunday it doesn't show rain currently, so we'll see, knock on wood. You can see the handy dandy little app at the top. All right. What are you doing? What are you up to today, Hurt? Don't really have any plans. We need to go see the house. We can't go see the house until our neighbor feels better and they have time available and want to go. But they also have to get a key from somebody else. Well, I don't know if they have that key yet. The owner's in Utah. They're friends with the owner. Another friend in the area has the key, so they have to get the contact information for the guy with the key, and when they have to feel better and have time to go do the showing. Laying tile, fixing deck, nice. We need to immediately see the house and lot to see if, because we've seen outside pictures, we have not seen interior pictures. I don't know the size. I know it's got either 2 full CRs or at least 1.5 CRs, 2 bedrooms upstairs. It doesn't have AC, but it was built for mini split inverter AC. So we would have to provide it, but we could take it with us when we leave, which isn't optimal, but if that's what I gotta do, that's what I'll do. So we need to go see how big it is, see if we like it at all, because if we don't like it, then I need to move on to finding a different place, because I am running the F out of time. My veterinarian needs to quit dicking me around. My mom needs to quit dicking me around. People that have homes or that are facilitating, checking things out, need to quit dicking me around. Yeah. So, Pekong, Darwin, and Valencia are all basically suburbs of Dumaguete. I like Valencia because it's up the mountain a bit and a little cooler. But I'm definitely open to Pekong. The house we're looking at is still technically Valencia area, and the water would be Valencia municipal water, but it's located somewhere off the Valencia Pekong cutoff road. Yeah, Pekong's a good place, and it's growing a lot. Pekong, Valencia, Darwin are good. Warren heard that they're putting in a big international airport in Darwin, which explains the road improvements, highway improvements to that area, because they're getting it prepped for putting in that international airport. So that would be awesome if they can have international flights straight into Darwin, which is essentially Dumaguete. That's a freaking game changer, because I don't know all of the international airports, but there's Cebu, there's Manila, there's Clark, which used to be Clark Air Force Base. Now, I don't know that they would have direct flights to the U.S. or many places in the U.S., but I mean, access to another international airport would be super nice, so that you don't necessarily have to fly to Manila to get out. But just I'm doing good with my patients now. Interestingly enough, most of my issues with patients right now are not related to things in the Philippines. It's really related to people jerking me around back in the U.S. How funny is that? Basically, all of my stress right now is coming from the U.S. and dealing with getting my dog over here. Once Ash is here, life will be easy. But dealing with the vet, getting stuff done, dealing with this and that, and then timing gets difficult. The time changes. I'm adjusted to the time change, but trying to accomplish things in the U.S. with the time difference, oof. I basically have to be up at like 2 a.m. to do stuff in the U.S. But that's why so many call center employees work graveyard in the Philippines, because that's when it's daytime in the U.S. and that's when they need most of the customer service for the U.S. I just tried to breathe coffee again. Luckily I didn't cough and spit it all over the place. Alright, 55 minutes. 5 people, 8 likes. The nice thing is, a lot of times people will tune in later, so even doing these now help. And a few call center folks from IT Park, nice. And there's definitely good Filipinas and stuff at the call center areas, IT Park and stuff, because there's a lot of them that come from the province and go to college and then get a job and work for the family. I mean, that's basically what she did in Manila for over 10 years. She's super sweetheart, man. I'm having a great time with her. I don't at all regret getting cuffed at the airport with her because she's been sweet and funny and hilarious. Had just a great time the whole time we've been together. Yeah, me too, man. I got super lucky. Because there's, a lot of horror stories. People meeting the wrong one at the airport and ended up having issues or being miserable. But like I've said, I'm good at reading people. I know myself, I'm good at reading people. And people are like, yeah, we'll see you once you get there and meet in person and stuff. But everything I expected about the Philippines has been correct. Everything I saw and expected about her has been correct. So, can there be snafus anytime? Sure. So far, I'm batting about 995 out of 1,000. Yeah, and even though we hadn't met in person, the way we talked and stuff, I could tell we were going to hit it off. And that was confirmed within minutes of meeting in person. It's still shocking. I still remember the first time I saw her in her live stream. I was in another channel and I was in there building subscribers and clicking over to other channels to link with them. And I popped over to Chi's channel when it was still Chi and Adrian vlog. And I did dropped a message, clicked subscribe, came back to the other one. I was like, she was gorgeous. Wait, shoot. And I went back and it just kept going back and kept going back. And then I could tell she was bummed out. So I let her know, I'm like, here's my email if you ever want to talk to somebody. And it took a while, but eventually she did start talking after they broke up. And then they kind of got back together for a week or so, and then they broke up for good after that. And I still hadn't heard from her, and I didn't bother her. I pretty much written it off, and one day out of the blue, she just started messaging me again, and man, we talked and talked and talked and talked, and just hit it off. Get off me, bug. How you doing, Apollo Crane? Yeah, and everything that, whenever something seems like it was going to keep me from coming out here, where it looked like it might be a problem coming or being here, well, I don't talk religion stuff a lot. I can't say it's luck. I can't say it's my own skill. God, obviously, just anytime there was a roadblock or a big issue, he just smoothed it out, and it was barely a ripple in the road. And just super grateful for that. That was answered a lot of prayers. Like I said, I don't get into that stuff a lot, but I am a Christian and I do believe and I do pray many times a day. But I just keep most of that to myself. But everything just keeps working out. I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be at this point. Hopefully permanently, or as permanently as possible. Doing good though. So what's new there, Apollo Crane? Where are you at these days? Where are you located? I meet so many people in here and in other live streams, and especially Jasper's, it's hard to keep up. I know Apollo and Hurt are two awesome dudes. Apollo definitely needs to get a picture up there. How's Steven doing, Hurt? You'll be in the Philippines in November. Nice. Seems like there's a bunch of people coming out November, December, or early next year. I was originally going to wait to come out until end of February or early March next year. It was stressing me out too much. Too many variables looking like they could become a problem to coming out. Financially, it would have been smoother to wait a few more months and stack a bit more money, but uh, I'm just going with flow and trusting that if something needs to happen, it'll happen. Yeah, I need to go through one as well. However, 3 years ago she disappeared to North Carolina. So that's a thing I have to take care of sometime next year. But if they haven't locked things the heck down by like June or July next year, then I'll worry about taking care of that. I'll probably have to go back for a little while at least to get it started, and then hopefully I can do most of it or finish it up remotely. So, hey Mark, how's it going? 3. That's random. Yeah, it won't be my first, but hopefully it'll be my last. First one, we were married 13 and a half, 14 and a half, technically, if you include the year that we were separated during the divorce, but effectively, as far as I'm concerned, once you split, that's it. So effectively 13 and a half years. This will actually be my 4th, but while that sounds horrible, the middle 2 were too fast rebound mistakes that lasted less than 2 years each. The 3rd one I had wanted to wait on and see how things went, so I didn't have a 3rd, let alone 4th divorce. But she put down an ultimatum because her previous boyfriend had said, or had led her on for 5 years. So she's like, said she wasn't going to be a live-in girlfriend, so either we got married or that was it. So I gave in and we got married, and like the day after we got married, she flip-flopped and started acting jacked up. So number 2 and number 3 were less than 2 years each. So I barely count them. I just have to mention them because that's the truth, and I'm not hiding anything. The 4th one, though, she left. Actually, she already left. It's been just over 3 years. So just over 3 years ago. She started chatting with a guy in a video game, our Star Trek Fleet Command game that we play on our phones. They chatted for 6 weeks, and she decided she wanted to be with him more. I don't think it was about being unhappy with me, because we didn't fight or anything. We got along great. I think it was about her. She had 4 kids, so I took on all 4 kids. Their dad's a chump. Can barely hold a job. But the 2 older ones, the oldest was the problem, and then the second to oldest turned like 12 and started picking up behaviors and traits from her older sister, and they basically would not do what she told them to do. They were both old enough to be doing stuff around the house, and the oldest, Caroline, would argue for 2 hours about why she shouldn't have to do the dishes when it would have taken her 15 or 20 minutes to do said dishes. So she'd either argue for 2 hours or just tell her no and wander off. and I worked swing shift, so I wasn't around when most of that was going on. Because if I put my foot down, they would immediately do what they were told to do. And I wasn't mean by any means. I was just, they knew not to mess with me. And I think she got fed up with the two older girls and just didn't want to deal with them anymore. So I think she tapped out, went to North Carolina to be with this guy to get away from those two and not have to deal with. Not, it's not that she didn't want to be a mom, because she took the youngest with her, which she lost custody of her too, and is in North Carolina. The dad is trying to find her to serve her papers to force her to bring the youngest back, and every time they locate her, she moves again. So, yeah, she did me real dirty. Yeah, so everything was good. A week later, she was gone. Out of the blue. No warning, no nothing. I mean, the final week was hell because I found out about the guy. And, whatever. But it made it difficult. I wanted to do the divorce pretty much immediately, but initially my mom said she'd help me out getting it done, and then changed her mind, and I didn't have the money to do it because she was not pulling much money, luckily, but she still had access to the accounts. And that's another thing. If she tries to come after me for a bunch of money, I can show the judge 2.5 years of bank statements where she had full access to my account. She could have taken out a lot more at any point, but usually she only pulled 100 or 200 bucks. So I just left it alone. But then I started working overtime to try and stack money for my first trip out to the Phils. And as soon as she would see overtime money come into the account, then she would take $300 to $500 a month. So that started in February. And in March, I opened up another set of accounts. Navy Federal was nice because they went ahead, and even though I still had to process the direct deposit changes, they went ahead and redirected it internally until the changes went through. So just out of the blue, she stopped having access to my money. And if she tries to come after me because she's mad that I cut her off from the money, and now I'm sure the dad's going to lose his mind. He's probably realized that I don't have my insurance anymore. Everything's probably getting kicked back, so he's probably going to lose his mind and try and cause a problem. But I'm not required to. Yeah, they're my stepkids. I'm not required to provide insurance. And I provided it. I left her and the kids on the insurance mainly because once the grandparents initially had the kids before he got custody of them. But come to find out, there were a bunch of medical things and dental things that she was not taking care of, and with my work schedule, she didn't tell me about it, so I didn't even know about it. So we found out after the fact, so I left them on the insurance so that the grandparents and then the dad could get things taken care of, because it should have been done when they lived with me anyway. But that was just being nice. It wasn't something I had to do. So the insurance is gone now. She lost access to the money beginning of April. Yeah, I'm pretty certain the oldest will get pregnant before terribly long. She's got to be coming up. Let's see, I can't remember when she was born. Hang on, let me look. I've got other info. I needed it for insurance, but I also have it for when I did the divorce, 2007. Math is hard. 13 to 20. Is that right? Yeah, 14. Yeah, so the oldest is 17 now. Is that right? 13. Yeah, so end of next January she'll be 18. She's living with her dad. So the next oldest, second oldest is 14 and a half now. She has the youngest with her. She's not supposed to because she fully lost custody. But since she kept, it would have been a pain to try, it would have taken a while. It'll take a while when I finally file it. Because I gotta, if I can't track her down to serve her, then, and interestingly, Warren is from North Carolina and he has people that he says can locate her. But I'm gonna wait on that until when I'm ready to file. But if I can't find her, then I've gotta like do newspaper posts or something for a while to show the judge that I made an attempt to track her down and serve her paperwork. And then after I've shown that I made all the good attempts to do that stuff, then he can just be like, yep, done. There's only a 90-day waiting period in Washington State. I don't know how long it would take to satisfy the requirements to prove that I attempted to reach her. But if it comes down to it, I can probably get information from the dad, probably, although now that I've cut off insurance, they'll probably become difficult to work with. Not only that, but she's fraudulently saying she's single in North Carolina to get state benefits in North Carolina. Yeah, so that's going to come back to haunt her at some point. Along with having the youngest, which she's not supposed to have. They find her and she moves. As soon as she finds out that they found her, they move again. So I want to get it done, but with everything as potential for going bad in the US and around the world, I just decided it was better just to get out here. And by not being divorced yet, it means I can't be silly and get married too quickly because I've got to get that done first. So that forces me to take my time here with Chi, but I can already tell she and we're golden, man. We have such a good time together every day. I get up just to pee in the middle of the night and she pops up in bed and are you okay? Why aren't you sleeping? I'm like, it's okay, go back to sleep. I just gotta use the CR, no big deal. But she's sweet. I make coffee in the morning, she cooks. I would in some ways prefer not to marry again, but part of us being together was that we would eventually get married and that I would give her at least one kid. Now I've had a vasectomy, so I've got to get a reversal, or do the other procedure where they put a giant needle in your nut and extract the swimmers, and then I don't know, I don't think it's an IVF. I think they like extract them and then, I don't know, somehow use some kind of a medical turkey baster kind of a thing to get it up in there. But I said if neither of those work, then we could adopt, because I was adopted. My sister and I are not blood related, neither am I to my parents, but they always treated us like blood. They adopted us separately, treated us like blood. That's why it never bothered me to have stepkids. And if we can't have our own kid, I asked her, I'm like, would you, if the reversal doesn't work and the other procedure doesn't work, would you be happy with just adopting? And she thought about it and got back to me and said yes. So all that moved forward. So eventually we're going to have at least one kid, whether that's our own or our adopt. There's lots of kids out here that need adopting, man. There's a lot of sad stories out here, and because of how my parents treated me, well, on one hand I would rather adopt, because then you probably sidestep the crying all night diaper phase. If I can give her one of our own, then I will. Yeah, I gotta win her. She's super sweetheart. She's 32, doesn't look like she's 32. Body of a 18, 19-year-old cheerleader. That's not an exaggeration. She's always laughing and joking and tickling me and taking care of me, and I do my best to take good care of her too. And you, people can tell she's happier too. Her family likes me. They saw us together and saw how happy we are, see how happy she is. So her brothers are happy, her mom and dad are happy. I'm sure karma will catch up. And that's why part of the reason I think things are going so well for me, because I'm just me and I'm genuine, and I think God and the universe is throwing me a bone, and I definitely wasn't going to pass her up. And we watched each other on live stream for months and talked for months before I got out here. And while that's not the same, it's not like you could tell she was genuine on her live streams, and she's the same in person. Girl you're with there is amazing. Yeah. She's in the US, or she's Filipina, or what? There's no rush to find them. Well, I know you're in the US, but I didn't know if the girl you're with is from the US or if she's Filipina. But there's so many Filipinas. Oh, you stay with your girlfriend. Oh, that's right. You said you're doing stuff at the place. Well, that's good. Are you going to bring her out here, or you're going to bounce once you get situated? I know probably not an easy thing to discuss, so I understand if you don't want to answer, and that's fine. Yeah, there's no shortage. People, guys that are worried about finding somebody before they get here, just get out here, find a place, get yourself situated. It worked out for me to have somebody waiting for me, but that's not going to be the way most people should do it, or the way they'll find somebody good. I just got super lucky. I won the lottery finding her. And it's awesome because she's a province girl, but she has city experience because she lived and worked in Manila for over 10 years. But then she started her Sorry Sorry store when she moved back to the province. And she's been running that for over 4 years. Like 10 or 11 months ago, she started her YouTube channel from the ground up, and she's already over 21,000 subscribers and monetized for months now. So she's got a life experience. She doesn't have a degree, but she knows how to manage money, has experience, been to the city, went back to the province, still acts like a province girl. So it's just been a win-win-win-win, knock on wood for me. I'm always respectful of Murphy and Murphy's Law, because every time I try and say that Murphy's not breathing anymore, or Murphy's Law isn't real, Murphy kicks me in the nuts. So yeah, and so many Filipinas and Filipinos cannot manage money. So for her to, on her own, run a successful Sorry Sorry store that was super well stocked, super organized, really nice looking, and become successful on YouTube so quick, it says a whole lot for her. And she said she didn't cook much because since she was running the store, her mom and her sisters would cook most of the time. And they said, you're working, you work and we'll cook, no problem. But she's been cooking it for me almost every single meal. And even stuff that's like her first attempt cooking is excellent and delicious. So I've been eating very well, very healthy. And if people were watching me before, I'm way more relaxed and happy, and she's happier, and her family could see that. I know the word you're trying, it's like a calendaria or something. I don't know, but she could. Her food's excellent. I mean, a lot of times we get something at a restaurant or at a kind of a, I wouldn't say fast food, but like a small joint. And her food, that her version that she makes here, is better even the very first time she makes it. I think it's Calendaria or something like that. I'm sure she could do it. However, that would impede us doing YouTube stuff and traveling around. So right now that's not the plan. But if we had to do it, it's something I know she could definitely do, and her cooking is definitely good enough to sell. So those options are there. Yeah, so can she. Her tuna sinigang is amazing. A lot of people like to say, "Oh, pork sinigang." I'm sure pork sinigang is good too. I haven't yet had it yet. I've had pork soup that she made. It was super good. But I think the sour aspect of the sinigang soup, along with the tuna, really fits well. So I like the tuna sinigang. But I've also been enjoying the hell out of the fried fish, whether it's the galangang, GG, also it's also it would be mackerel, the smaller fish, or the bangus, milkfish. Balolo's good. There's not as much beef here on Negros as there is on, say, Luzon. And like Tagate in Luzon, they actually imported um, Angus cows. So Tagate, Luzon has really good beef. Not a whole lot of good beef out here unless you go to um, a Western store, but it's not cheap. And I'm happy with mostly chicken and fish, some pork, but I prefer chicken and fish to pork. But the food's been amazing. I don't know why people say they don't like the food. It's, to me, that's more they want Western food, or they want Western style food. And I've always given an option. I'll take ethnic foods, Hawaiian, Filipino, Asian foods over over Western food. Yeah, it's so good, dude. And she didn't think I would like her cooking. I love her cooking. She didn't think I'd like the fried fish. I love the fried fish. I keep trying different, like the sour mango dipped in chili, spicy chili salt. That, I love that. I love the pickled green papaya. And she keeps being shocked. Yeah, I like the kind of the daily life stuff, so that's kind of what we're doing. Like I said, we'll also have travel videos and food videos, and not yet, not yet. I told her I would try it once, so that'll be a combo video of me trying balut and vomiting on camera. That'll be fun, but I'll try it. KuyaStorm should have been born brown. Yeah, I feel like I'm Filipino trapped in a Kano body, white Kano. Oh, I love spicy vinegar. I put that on all sorts of stuff, including rice now. And it's not just spicy vinegar, it's spicy coconut vinegar. Now, it's not like from coconut milk. That's where a lot of people get mistaken. They like cut into part of the palm, and so it's actually made from palm sap. So is the tuba, which is like the coconut wine. People are like, oh, coconut wine from coconut milk. No, it's made from that coconut sap. But that coconut vinegar, oh, it's so good, dude. And we've got the regular, but I really like the extra spicy Tisoe coconut vinegar. I haven't had it yet. I tried to get him to have it for her mom's birthday when we were in the province, but wrong time of the year. So I haven't gotten to try tuba yet, but I definitely want to try it. Calamari and peppers, yep, and I like calamansi. So calamansi are little teeny tiny citrus fruits, and it's a cross between an orange and a lime. They call it a sour orange, but they're itty bitty. They're like the size of a atomic fireball, basically. And you can eat almost any little Filipino place you go to. You can get like a glass of pure calamansi juice, and it's probably 8 ounces. Man, I don't even know how many calamansi that is to make an 8 ounce glass of juice, but it's really good. But yeah, adapting to the Philippines has been super cake for me. Uh, it's funny that they don't use chopsticks here, even though it's rather Asian style food. But I still like using chopsticks a lot. But Filipinos use either their hands or a spoon and a fork. I don't think it would be. I don't think it would give you a buzz right off the tree. But you've got to ferment it, just like any other alcohol. So it's not alcoholic right off the tree. Same thing with vinegar. So I haven't had the sap right off the tree. I don't even know if that's palatable. Some things you have to ferment to be able to ingest it. But I don't think you can drink tuba right off the tree. And even if you do, it's not going to be alcoholic. Hey Todd, how you doing, buddy? How's work going? Everybody's been missing you and asking you about you on Jasper's streams. Plan on getting tuba at the Sinulog Festival in January. Nice. Yeah, I'd like to go to Sinulog in Cebu. Looks like a pretty good time. But yeah, I did ask him to get tuba for her mom's birthday party in the province, but it was unavailable. So had hoped to try it by now, but haven't had an opportunity yet. But it's not for lack of trying. And if you guys saw that pig that they roasted, oh my goodness, that was good. Yep, working your ass off. Well, hang in there, buddy. I know you're working stupid hours, like 15 hours or something. Don't overdo it, Todd. I know that's easier said than done, but seriously, don't work yourself to death before you get to come out here or wherever you end up going, even if it's not the Philippines. Stack money, but don't die doing it. I'm really getting the feeling that my vet is just not responding, which is really rude. It's not how you do a business. But I've texted them again and they're still not responding. Maybe you will have to go through a different vet. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of time to go to another vet where they're at, so if he has to go to another vet, then he's probably going to have to take Ash with him to Colorado or Nebraska or North Carolina. But we'll get Ash, as soon as I can get the paperwork, we'll get it submitted to the Philippine authority. It turns out, since whoever's going to fly Ash out has to be the one to apply for the permit. So we got to get the paperwork from the vet. Vet has to submit paperwork to the USDA and get that certified. That has to be submitted when you apply for the permit. No, Ash is with Chip currently at my old place, but they've got to leave by like the end of the first week of October because I do not have another $1,700 to pay for another month at the house. Yeah, and if it was just a regular pet dog, I would probably rehome him, but Ash is basically like a service dog, and he's family to me, so I can't just send him to somebody else. But he's doing well with Chip right now. Chip's been teaching him a lot of good stuff. I could barely get Ash to sit until I put the food in his dish and stood up and told him he could go. Chip's got him trained now. He puts the food in the dish and he puts his fist and he holds his fist and he goes over like 20 feet away and sits down at the picnic table. And Ash sits there looking at his dish, kind of looking at Chip out of the corner of his eye. And as soon as Chip goes like this, then Ash will eat his food. But until Chip goes like this, Ash stays sitting. So Chip's doing some great additional training with Ash for me. So they're keeping each other company and doing well. But as soon as we can get the paperwork, fly Chip out here for 3 or 4 weeks. He'll bring Ash. I think we'll have to fly to Manila, meet him in Manila, overnight in Manila at like a hotel or Airbnb that'll take a dog. Good, Todd. That's good to hear. Yeah, I love labs, man. And he's a good black lab. Another litter of pups. The lady that's the breeder had like 4 of them accepted as uh, 2 or 3 for seeing eye dogs, another one for a general service dog, and I think one for a sniffer dog. Yep, he's thinking about it. He's seeing how happy and low stress I am out here. And with this health stuff, on one hand, you don't necessarily want to come out if you have health stuff, but I think he would be healthier out here because lower stress. Um, he's going to look at how much he can get for Social Security, but he's also going to work on getting on SSDI, the Social Security disability. He's got to be off work for 30 days before he can apply for SSDI. But man, if he could get Social Security and SSDI, he could live even better than me out here. And I think he'd be super happy. Well, there's a lot of natural stuff you can do to do like liver cleanses and things. So even if you've got some issues, hopefully it's stuff that can be improved or reversed. Just definitely. Um, he did, I think, some military or law enforcement stuff. He also worked as a guard at prison for years and years. So he's got some injuries. I don't know that he was hurt on the job, but he's got his heart issues. So his sister seems to think that he should be able to apply for SSDI even though it's not like a work injury. I barely drink. I mean, it's been 2 or 3 days since I had a beer. He's got the battery's dead, so he wants to have it removed, but he's got one of those stimulators for his nerves and is implanted. He's going to have that removed because it's batteries either has to get removed or he's got to have the batteries replaced because they're rechargeable, but they're like out of date and not working. So I think he's just going to get it removed. He gets leg pain and stuff, but he he just needs to come out here. I think he'll be better off, even with his issues. You look at Paul Old Dog Nutrix. When he came out to the Philippines, he was on 4 heart medications. He's off his heart medication now. I'm sure he has stuff for like emergencies if it kicked up. Expensive, expat, and that's ex, formerly pensive, stressed, anxious, expat, not expensive, like costs a lot. He was on daily depression, anti-anxiety meds, and up to 3 Xanax a day. He's totally off his medication. I was um, tapering off of my meds before I came out, and then I still had probably a couple more weeks to go, but I forgot to pack it. So I've been off my meds since I came out here, and I'm doing good. Once in a while I get a little bit of an anxiety spike, usually if I've had a big cup of Death Wish and have to deal with something about Ash or something at the house. But you would think I sold the house, it's over with. It's not quite over with. I need Chip and Ash to get the hell out of there. I need to get that. Once they're out of the house, and once I have Ash over here, then that's going to be most of whatever stress is left. Hopefully you don't need another neck surgery, hurt, but just to, take it as you can, and definitely look at the natural stuff for liver. I don't think he can keep working. I think he's realizing he can't keep working at a hard job like FedEx, slinging packages for a shift. He's 63 now, which isn't old, but I mean, he wanted to work till he was 67. I think he's realizing that's probably not a realistic plan. So I really hope he can, even if he came out, let's say he could get 1200, that's on the way lower end, but if he was in an area like we're in, 1200 is still very doable out here. Yeah. Chip's in better shape than I am, and he's 63. He's definitely fit. He's in good physical condition. He's got some issues with his heart and abdomen and stuff, but he's a fighter. He's in good health, or good shape. Some of his health could be better, but like I said, I think either not working or working an easier job or just coming out here would change things big time for him. 9 people hit the like, guys. Subscribe if you're new. It's still, let's see, it's 4:26, so it's still dark here. Nothing to show you because it's pitch black out, but at the moment I haven't heard it raining, knock on wood. Sounds like it's going to rain probably from about 9 a.m. until 8:30 or 9 tonight. I'm showing rain until at least Sunday, but I've been finding that even if it says it's raining, it's not necessarily dumping, and it may not be right over us, but just the general area. I mean, Warren lives 6-7 minutes from me, probably only 5 if there's no traffic. Nice. Nice. Yeah, you should have plenty of money come out here. I mean, I'm on about 1850, which isn't a lot. That'll go up a little. It's supposed to be a pretty low increase because the VA disability goes up about as much as Social Security, and it's supposed to be lower than it's been for a few years. I think like 2.25% maybe. Mike's Philippine Journey. Thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, Mike, I've been out here for just over 5 weeks now. Planning on staying as long as they keep renewing my tourist visa. End of March I'll hit 50 so I can apply for an SRV. Nice. Thanks for coming in, man. I'm adjusting real well to the Philippines. Already have a Honda ADV 160. Done 3 or 4 nice rides up to like Cafe Alicia and other places. Drove to Bayawan City and then an hour out into province in Bayawan for her mom's 60th birthday last week. In fact, it was last Wednesday, so today's Wednesday, so a week ago today we were getting ready to go to the province. Had a good time. Yeah, those Honda ADVs are nice. I've got one. Warren's got a 150 ADV. Thanks, Mike. Scott's World. Hey, thanks for coming in, buddy. Yeah, I'm new channel, not monetized yet. I'm out here with Chi. She's sleeping right now. Chi, the Filipino vlog. She just went over 21,000 subscribers. I've got tons of video. I've still got to edit, but you know, day-to-day life, things had to be done prior to that. But I've already got a stock of footage that I need to go through and get videos up. Hopefully I can edit them decently. They're not going to be as good as my sneak peek videos, because those sneak peek videos are auto-generated off my GoPro footage. It's done automatically when you upload it by the YouTube service. So we'll have travel videos, day-to-day videos. This is how my live streams are, pretty mellow. I'm extra quiet right now because it's 4:30 in the morning and everybody else is still sleeping, so I'm keeping my voice down. If you saw the thumbnail, that's my bike. Got it. It did not have a top box, so I got the rack and the top box put on. Got the 150 watt LED spots put on the front. They put on some little brackets, but they vibrate a lot because it's pretty flimsy metal. I've got the guy that I bought the bike from. He has a full set of ADV crash bars coming in, and then they'll move the spots up onto that, and they won't vibrate anymore. I had him install a real loud horn, but when we were driving back through the tropical storm weather from Bayamon City last Thursday, it apparently got water in it, so right now the truck sounding horn is quieter than the stock motorcycle horn. So it was a 2023, it had 8,000 kilometers on it, but that's only what, 3,000 miles or so. So very low miles, very good condition. Warren already had an ADV, so he test drove it, gave it a look over and said it was a good price. It was 152,000 pesos, so approximately 2,700 bucks, which is what I was expecting to pay. That thing would be easily double that in the US. Yep. So thanks, Todd. Yeah, I met all these guys over there. Met some really awesome people. I met Warren Nickham in Jasper's Live, and now we hang out multiple times a week. We go on motorcycle rides. He's going to be gone for about a month. On the 20th, I'll take him to the port, and he's going to Cebu, and he's going to go to France and then Germany for the beginning of Oktoberfest, and he'll be back in about a month. But we're having a great time together, him and his girl Bella from Cebu, Northern Province. I just had my 10-month membership thing on Jasper's Live, and I was in his live for like a month before I joined the membership, but I also think it got reset a bit when I went to the higher tier, so it's got to be coming up on a year. But I think when I went to Inner Circle from just the basic member level, I think it messed with the counter. It's not supposed to, but it seems like it did. He gave me a lot of good info. Overstay Road gave me a lot of good info. I really like It's Me channel. There's a ton of channels that I've watched and followed, and I did research for just about every single day until I came out. So I was pretty prepared for it. Did I do everything right? No. Did I break some of the rules? Yes, but I found a great Filipina to be with, and in person she's as good as she appeared to be, so we're having a great time together. I was just burnt in the West. I was ready to come out here. I did 13 years in the Navy on submarines, 16 and a half years working on them as a Navy civilian in a shipyard, and I was just ready to not have that stressful job anymore and have a nice, simple, quiet life. So if I had stayed another 10 years, I'd have had a big retirement from the shipyard, but I might have had a heart attack and died from the stress. So I just decided the best thing was to get out here and eat better, live happy, low stress, and Yeah, it's only been 5 weeks, but we've done a lot in the 5 weeks. I got here and within like 4 days we went to Bohol for 3 days, did a full tour package on one of the days out there, 3 or 4 long bike trips. Yeah, I love it out here, man. It's been awesome. Nothing was really a shock. I did enough research that I was pretty prepared for stuff. Like I said, some things I could have smoothed out if I had stayed a few more months, but with all the stuff going on and potentially going on in the US and around the world, I still haven't put it past them to try and pull another lockdown again. So I just decided to get out here. That made it a little more bumpy, but we're having a great time and we're going to be just fine. We're doing really well. I think we found a place. It doesn't have AC, but Robinson's in the mall will take my visa so I can get an AC if I need to. Yeah, that'd be great. You guys are welcome to come out. If we get into the place we're looking at, it's only 15,000 peso a month. It's got 2 houses on it. One is a Western style house, 2 bedroom, 2 CR, and then it's got a 2 bedroom, probably 1 CR, half concrete, half bamboo house, kind of a native style house also on the property, but both of those would be for us. It wouldn't be a separate renter, so we can use that for various things. Yes, China smashed into a Philippines Coast Guard ship while 60 Minutes crew was on board. So that's causing quite the stir. You can look that up even on 60 Minutes. But there's news all over about that on Telegram and things. They pulled that ship back to Manila or wherever nearby there and are sending another ship out. So China's doing a lot of crazy stuff. We rode from Bayawan province back to Valencia in full-on tropical storm weather. I mean, we had like a foot of water in a bunch of places over the road. Winds were probably blowing 35, 40 miles an hour with gusts. I had to keep a death grip on the handlebars so it wouldn't push me around, but I could still definitely feel it. So gusts were probably 50 to 60 miles an hour. Yeah, Mischief Shoal. If you saw the palm trees and stuff, they were pretty bent over. Stuff was coming out of the trees on us when we had rode to Bayawan City. Anytime we'd go over a bridge, I'd look each side to kind of see how far the water was down, and it looked like it was about 30 feet under the bridge. Coming back, it was already up like halfway, and at least one of them, I looked out on the southern side of it toward the ocean, and there were 2 or 3 palm trees floating down the river. She looked the next day, and the water was almost up to the bridge, and somebody sent her a video off of YouTube where they were cleaning up a landslide. So there was a landslide that covered part of the road that we traveled, but I think it happened like a day or two after we went through. But we were one of the only motorcycles on the road going anywhere long distance. Any other motorcycles on the road or trikes on the road were basically just going from local one place to another. I tried to stay behind a van, a bus, or a truck as much as possible because people would get out of their way, so I was tucked in nice behind them, and then they would also plow through the water, so I would be about 20 or 30 feet behind the vehicle, and they would push the water out of the way, and then I'd only have about this much water instead of this much water. There were a few times where it didn't look like where there would be water over the road, but I got up to it and quickly dumped speed, but still probably hit the water about 25 or 30 kilometers per hour. But I had a good grip on the bike, and the ADV went great through the water. The only issue I've had, I was a little worried if I was gonna lose the spots. The spotlights stayed working. The loud horn is not working properly. It's very quiet. It's kind of a meep, meep, very quiet. Before the water got to it, it sounded like a truck. had 14 feet of water in your house. It was horrible. Yeah, that would be awful. So I was still in the Navy when Katrina hit and was doing travel to Florida. And, and I was in Florida like 2 or 3 weeks after Katrina came through. And it was still pretty torn up. Um, I haven't had any get right in my way. The native dogs tend to be right on the, maybe in the slow lane if there's a slow lane and a fast lane. Um, but usually if you give them a little beep with the horn, they look over, see you, and then stop where they're at or go back off the road. Um, no, it wasn't Pensacola. I can't really say exactly where it was because of the nature of my job. So I don't talk about that much and will not answer questions about that. And yes, it was that sensitive. Um, the bigger thing we had problems with driving to Bayouan City. We were supposed to have the bike back before noon. We didn't get it back until like 4 p.m. And I got it washed, came back to the place here in Valencia, loaded it up, and got on the road about 4:40. But I saw the rain, so I was trying to get to Bayouan City as quick as possible, but the rain hit, so I had to slow down a bit for that, and then it got dark about an hour before we arrived. So it took 3 hours to get to Bayouan City. The next morning we rode an hour. She said it was an hour to her place in the province, to her parents' house, and that's about what it took us. Now the next day, I thought about staying an extra day or two, but I looked at the forecast there, and I looked at the forecast here in Valencia and Duma, and saw that it was going to be raining for like the next 10 days, and it looked like it was going to get worse and worse, and it did. So we hit the road. And once we got to Bayouan City, it was raining hard enough for a couple minutes. I was having thoughts of maybe getting a hotel, staying the night there, but we went around the roundabout. I think it's the only one in Bayouan City, and there was water about 4 inches deep, covering a bunch of the road there. And I was like, nah, we're just gonna get the hell out of here. And there was one of the newer vans that's wide, kind of a Euro van looking things, and then there was a motorcycle behind them. They were obviously traveling together. The motorcycle had his blinkers on, so we stayed tucked with them. They'd take off, and I was going pretty quick, and they took off a couple times, and we ended up catching up with them, because when it would clear up and not have traffic, I would nail it again. So we traveled with them for probably almost half the way, off and on. Once we got to where it opened up, where they've done the nice widening on the road after like Zamboguita, I was able to crank it up. So a good portion of it I was probably doing, it varied 55 to about 73 kph even in the storm. And I kept having to dump speed because we'd come up and there'd be more water over the road. It was pretty bad when we got to Darwin and Bakong. There was probably a few kilometers where it was a good 6 or 8 inches deep, almost solid. A lot of it, like I said, I was able to be behind a truck, so they were pushing it mostly out of the way, and they would come back around the truck, but I was just close enough where I was safe distance following, but the water was only 2 or 3 inches deep for most of it. Like I said, I was worried about losing the new LED spotlights. They stayed working. I've got to have the guy check out the horn. I don't know if it'll have to be replaced altogether, or if they just need to like blow it out and dry out the connections or something. I don't know that it's damaged. I think it's probably just got water in it or water in the connection, so it's probably kind of shorted right now. But the nice thing is there's an inline button for a switch, so I can push that button and go back to the stock horn. But I was very, very impressed with how that ADV did in the storm. And I wasn't going to call it typhoon because that's way worse, but we did find out when we got back that it was actually the edge of, I don't know if it was leading edge or side edge or what, but it was the edge of the typhoon that came up and went over toward Luzon and Samar, I think, got it the most. I think it also hit, what's that other one? It's another town with a V, but I can't think of the name right now. But so ADV is short for adventure. So the nice thing, the German guy that I got the bike from was trying to talk me into like an NMAX, but they're designed more for the road, and the ADVs are kind of a on-road light. Yeah, they get hit a lot. But the ADV does amazing on-road and light off-road. It's done fine in dirt and gravel. It's not super awesome on the mud, but it does all right. But my problem on the mud was the traction control was kicking in, and that changed the electronic governor, so it was keeping the RPM super low. So I got in the mud and I was having trouble getting through it, no matter how much gas I gave it, and I didn't know how to turn off traction control, but I do know how to turn it off now. So if I get in the mud again, I'll turn it off and then be able to spin my way through the mud. Because man, that electronic governor, you get in the mud and basically you're not getting out of it. You got to push it out because the bike was almost stalling the bike out on the engine because it was trying to force the traction to maintain. But in 3 inches of mud, that was not happening. I'll tell you though, if the licensing people had seen how I drove through that tropical storm, they would be like, here's your Philippines motorcycle license, you're good to go, because I've been through some crazy weather already on that bike and through traffic on that bike, and I'm driving as good but better in many ways than Filipinos because I've been driving so long and I'm used to higher speeds and stuff in the US. Yeah, it's getting dicey right now because they're not doing the 6-month visa extensions, and I guess the LTO, Land Transit Office, doesn't want to convert licenses unless you have like a 6-month extension, so that's creating some issues. You've got like 90 days to legally drive when you first come over. So right now, immigration and LTO haven't really synced up with how they're gonna deal with that. Maybe that's intentional in case they do actually adopt the proposed tourist visa changes, which I really hope they don't, like I said earlier, but there's different people in here now. Because those proposed changes that would take effect, I believe, in June, you'd be here for 6 months and you would have to exit for a calendar year. Yeah, obviously I'm not gonna comment on that kind of stuff too much, but there's definitely seems to be a disconnect, unless that's intentional. To if they do adopt the new stuff, that would basically mean you couldn't drive over here anymore after your 90 days. Yeah, I'm a guest and I appreciate being here and I'm grateful to be here. It's not my place to discuss or question the government here, but I would say Warren and I are the kind of foreigners that they would want here because we enjoy the places, we enjoy the people, we bring a lot of money in, we're very positive people. Yep, I'm a guest and I'm grateful to be here. I'm happy to be here. I got really nothing but good to say. There's frustrations a little bit here and there, but so far everything's been going extremely well. So, I'm always hope for the best, prepare for the worst. I try and be ready in case another shoe drops somewhere, but so far so good. Just keep a head on the swivel and be ready to adjust as things change, and that's the only constant. The constant is that things always change. I'm hoping praying for a smooth set of renewals until the end of March when I can apply for my SRRV. And once that bad boy's in, then I'll be golden. Another week and a half or so, and I'll go in and apply for my second extension. That'll be a 2-month, and that's when I should be fingerprinted so that they can put me in for an ACR card. Yeah, I went through JRC on the first one. Now there's rumor that they or another visa place got suspended for 2 or 3 months for potentially allegedly overcharging on SRRV processing stuff more than the PRA, Philippine Retirement Authority, allows. I haven't seen anything validating which agency it is, and it's unclear if that suspension is all visa stuff or just the SRRV through the Retirement Authority. So if it is them that got hit, and if they are unable to process it, then there's other agencies. But I think it's just a lot less hassle to go through an agency. I am squeaky clean. I had a security clearance for almost 30 years, so that's proof that I was squeaky clean. But you never know if you're gonna go in and the people before you were buttholes, gave them a hard time, or maybe the officer's having a bad day. So I mean, you hit the wrong person on the wrong day, that could be a problem. So if you can have somebody that sees them every day and has a good rapport with them, and JRC was only 1,000 pesos for doing my paperwork for I think it would probably be 2,000 the next time, because I think it's like 1,000 for each month. So a 2-month I think would be 2,000, which is fine. I mean, that's dirt cheap. All right, Todd, take it easy, man. Thanks for coming in. But yeah, so far my experience with JRC was really good. When I was in there filing, Geo came in, so I didn't take any pictures or anything. I didn't bug him. We shook hands, exchanged pleasantries. He was nice, but didn't really get a chance to talk to him. I wasn't going to hassle him when he's out doing his daily stuff. But it was kind of cool. I mean, I was a little starstruck because he's one of the bigger guys. We didn't make it downstairs in time, but Leah and her husband, I should know his name, but I'm blanking at the moment, and their kids were downstairs eating at the restaurant a few days ago. And I think she was live, and we had to get dressed and stuff. By the time we made it downstairs, they were gone, but hopefully we'll get to meet them before too long. So we've seen, at least in passing, several of the vloggers. But Dumaguete is not as small as a lot of the videos make it seem. It's a much larger place than they make it seem. I'm sure there's lots of expats around, but I don't run into that many unless we're like at the mall or something. But it's a lot bigger than the videos make it seem, because a lot of the videos make it seem like it's basically just that strip along the boulevard. It's a lot bigger than that. It's definitely nice and quiet up in Valencia. Haven't really spent time in Bakong or Darwin, but we've been through. I hope we can get the place. We got to see the inside and see what it's like. But I hope we can get that place, even though we have to get our own AC. It was built with mini split inverter AC in mind, so it's already got everything set up for the install. So that was a plus. did a video call with the owner of the place. He's in Utah. He and his Filipina just got married in the U.S. So I think that's why they're back. I think he took her to the U.S. to get married and get her green card and citizenship. And then I'm guessing, I didn't really ask him, but I'm guessing they'll come back after that. But they've got a house in Valencia and a house in, what's the name of it? Sibilan. And that one's available for rent too, but I didn't even ask the price because it's obviously going to be on the high end because it's 4 bedroom, 4 CR, Western house, security system, 2 car garage. So I wouldn't be surprised if that place is going for like 70, probably 50 to 70. And I could afford like 35, maybe 40, but I'd rather have that money stacking in the bank every month, the extra money, or use it for going on trips to like secure the whole Boracay, various things. See, that's the thing. I'd like to get someplace really cheap here and maybe someplace really cheap in Bohol. That 3 days, even she loved it there. We really, really, really like Bohol. Yeah, and so if we get in a more expensive house, then that means less trips and less stacking. So I'd rather have a more simple place, this lower price. And if you have a lower price place in one, then you may be able to afford the other half of that and spend it, instead of spending 30 or 35, spend 15 or 20 in one place, and you may have another 15 or 20 to spend to have a place secured in another area, whether that's Boracay or Bohol or something. If you're like, oh, Bohol's just for tourists, we drove through plenty of places like in the province that are not touristy. So I mean, good grief. I lived in Hawaii for 3 years on Oahu, and after the first month, unless I went to a club or something, we basically did not go to Waikiki. We learned where people that lived in Hawaii actually went to eat and for beaches and things. So, you initially do touristy stuff, and then you start doing what other people actually do that live there. Now, with my budget, they've got to be cheaper places, but I don't need a super fancy place. I don't need a place like in BGC. That's not me. I don't need city. I don't like city. I grew up in the country. I just sold my house in the country. Yeah. Well, maybe you can swap. When Warren gets back from France and Germany, he said he's going to go over. We're going to do a road trip over to Bohol, and he's going to look for a second place. And then we can, if he's not there, we can probably drop him some money. But we're enjoying traveling together too, so I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Bohol, unless they want some alone time. That we'll probably go with them. And yes, I've already, even before I came out here, I was researching what I could do to be able to take Ash on a bike even. And they've got big backpacks, even for larger dogs like a lab. And they're vented so they get airflow and stuff. But they basically tuck them into a backpack kind of a thing, and their head's up out, and you get goggles for them, dog goggles. So I'll be on the front riding the motorcycle. She'll be behind me with Ash behind her, and then the top box behind him. And we've got a big waterproof bag that we can mount right on top of the top box. It looked pretty funny going down the road, but not any funnier than a family of 4 or 5 rolling around a bike smaller than ours. All the time. Flip flops, no helmets. You got dad driving the bike, little bitty 2 or 3-year-old on the front, another kid behind him, and mama on the back. Bike like that goes down, it's like a meat grinder, man. we got here? Over 2 hours. Nice. 4:59 a.m. Check my texts. Nope, the veterinarian office is still blowing me off. Chip, I think, went back to sleep. She's sleeping. All right. That's cool that you have a brother that you would even consider living with. My sister and I were adopted separately, and we've never really gotten along great. We've had periods of time where we got along, and then things would go back to more what is our norm, where we're better off not spending a lot of time around each other, unfortunately. And I never had a brother, always wanted a brother. Chip and I are really good friends. Warren and I are becoming really good friends. Probably about the closest thing I had to a brother, even though I had a half brother that we found, and 2 half sisters. However, during my first divorce, they all took my ex's side and cut contact with me, so I only knew them for a couple years. But the guy that I would say was probably the closest to me as far as being a brother, he shot himself in June of 2020 while lockdown was still going on, and I didn't find out about it until the 4th of June, but he actually did it the evening of the 3rd, and the 3rd is my son's birthday, so that's crappy. So every time my son's birthday comes around, it's kind of bittersweet because I'm happy that it's my son's birthday, but it also reminds me of my buddy shooting himself. And he was a good dude. He was my best man on my second wedding. Even if you both work at the shipyard, which we did, if you're on different shifts and or different projects, you may as well be 1,000 miles apart because you just don't see each other. You're so busy. But he and his family got me through my first divorce, and I wish I could have been there for him. But he was drinking way too much, and I guess he and his new wife had an argument, and I don't know. We don't know all the specifics of what happened, but he ended up shooting himself. There's some speculation that maybe it went differently than that, but no proof of anything, so can't even comment on it. But he was a really good dude, really smart. So it's too bad. Diddy denied bail on federal trafficking charges. SEX trafficking charges. Senate GOP blocks bill protecting access to IVF nationwide. I don't know why they would block IVF. IVF should be a good thing. I'm anti-ending, but fertilization I don't see a problem with. Interesting. Watch that later. 4 people. Oh, we got 14 likes. That's good. That was cool that Mike dropped by. I'm sure he's moved on since then, but that's cool that he came in. Five people. Thanks for coming in, guys. Hit the like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Still pre-dawn here, so oof. 2 hours, 15 minutes. Couldn't sleep, so here I am, and I needed to work on stuff for the dog, which I'll probably have to get off here in a bit and actually call the vet, since they are apparently dodging my text messages. I think they're upset that I had to cancel. I didn't miss it. I had to cancel the appointment that we had because stuff wasn't ready, but I think they are just not responding anymore. And they're set to get a $500 or $600 from me, so that's their loss if they stop responding and don't work with me. Even though I'm leaving, that's still a good chunk of money that they can get from me, and there's not that much work that they have to do, so I don't know what their problem is. But I probably need to call them because I feel like it's probably this one receptionist that's maybe blocking me. So I may have to speak directly with the vet and be like, hey, I've been trying to communicate with you guys. Your receptionist is not responding. I don't know if that's intentional by the office or if that's on her part. But I want to make them aware of that. And I think to do that, I'm going to have to speak directly to one of the vets. Six people. Don't lurk, guys. Say hi. Let me know who's in the chat. Let me know if you have questions, topics you want to talk about. I'm still new to the Philippines, but I did a ton of research before I got here. And now I'm here with boots on the ground. So a lot of the research I've done has been confirmed by first-hand experience now. If I don't know something, I'll try and figure it out or refer you to somewhere to find out. Oh my goodness. Picking up, I have a new some Tagalog I taught myself before I got here, and now I'm working on learning some Bisaya. That's a bit more important in Negros, but Tagalog is important for general around the Philippines. And some expats are like, oh, it's not necessary, you don't need to do it, everybody speaks English. So far my experience has been, and what I learned even speaking some Pidgin English in Hawaii when I lived there, it shows respect and they appreciate it if you're at least attempting to immerse yourself in learning language, trying the foods and various things. Her brothers and her mom and dad were tickled pink that I knew some Tagalog and was able to communicate with them and was learning Bisaya slowly. We had a really great time in the province last Wednesday, her mom's birthday. She just turned 60, so that's a big one out here. That's becoming a senior, and that's a big birthday out here. We had a big lechon cooked by her brothers. Her dad would have helped too, but he was in Bayawan City for the day. He was there the whole day getting assistance from the government for farmers because they were farmers. And that whole day he came back and he had, I don't know, like a 30-kilo bag of rice, and he had to wait in the city all day for that. That's annoying to me. Not my thing to discuss or really comment on, but next time we go out, we'll stop in Bayawan, and I'll see if I can pick up a couple big bags of rice to take out to him. Hey Philip, thanks for coming in. No, I'm adjusted to Philippine time, but we were tired yesterday, so we fell asleep at 7:30 or 8, and then woke back up. I woke up and probably about 1:45, and she was awake again, editing video for YouTube, and I just decided I'd get up and do an early live stream, get some extra hours in. Yeah, that lechon. So I know from like Spanish origins, lechon can be pork, and that's kind of slang used out here for talking about the roast pig, but out here really lechon is roast. So you can have lechon baboy, which is pig or pork. You can have lechon manok, which is roast chicken. So while a lot of people use lechon referring to the roast pigs, it's not just pig. But that thing was awesome, and they stuffed it with lemongrass and salt and magic syrup and other onions and garlic and other spices, evaporated milk, And then they had the oil with seasoning on it, basting the outside, getting that nice and crispy. The skin was amazing. It wasn't like chicharrones. It was crispy, and then it had the seasoning on the outside, and on the inside it had just delicious pork fat. And the lechon, the pork itself, was perfectly cooked, super juicy, best pork I've ever had in my life. Hey, Crooked Eye, how you doing? Yeah, most of my t-shirts came from Loot Crate, so they were themed different things every month. Because it was like $19.95 a month for Loot Crate, and you'd spend probably 20 bucks or more on a themed shirt from like Hot Topic or something, so it was a cheaper way to get them. No, it does not taste like bacon, and I don't really know what I could compare it to. I can just say it was amazing, very flavorful, just yeah. Oh, it's so crispy, so delicious. But I wasn't sure how the meat itself would turn out, and it was perfectly cooked and juicy and not dry at all. Like I was thinking, okay, is it going to turn out like some people's pork chops where they're dry or tough? It was juicy and tender. Oh, have not had sisig yet. I've had chicken adobo, pork adobo. I've had pork soup, chicken soup. I've had tuna sinigang. I've had chicken halang halang, which is like spicy chicken soup with coconut milk. I think the halang halang we had, it reminded me a lot of the flavor of, say, Penang curry. I think that's partly because of the fish sauce. She tried to make some, but we didn't have fish sauce. Oh, that's what we forgot at Hypermart. Need to get fish sauce. Yep, Pogi, Guapo. I'm trying to think of ideas for shirts. I don't like have crazy designs. It may just be the artwork for my logo. But once I get monetized, I'll get super chats, membership, and I can have a merch store when I hit 3,000 hours. And then when I hit 4,000 hours is when I can get ad revenue money. Getting there, I'm at, let me pull it up again. I don't like to misquote things. I'm at 882 hours of 3,000. So getting there, chipping away. It slowed down for a couple days, which was expected because the 10th I didn't go live because we were busy getting ready to and traveling to Baiwan City. The 11th we were there for her mom's birthday, and then the 12th was traveling back. So I had like 3 days where studio kind of has stayed still because it runs 5 days behind. So I had kind of a 2 or 3 day pause where there wasn't much change in my watch hours. But coming up on probably tomorrow, I'll probably hit 1,900 hours, so that's good. All right, take it easy, Hurt. Thanks for coming in for so long. I appreciate it. You've been in here pretty much the whole time, almost 2.5 hours. I really appreciate you coming in. If you're able to let your phone lurk in the background, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely try some sisig. I cannot do Red Horse. I tried it, can't do it. I was hoping I'd be able to compare it, whether I liked it or disliked it, to other beer I've had in the U.S. I don't like it. I don't know what to compare it to. I can't do it. But I like San Mig. San Mig Light's okay. I've had Pale Pills San Mig. I've had Apple San Mig. Don't really like the apple. I like the lemon, and I like the lychee. And a lot of places don't have the flavored. They'll have like San Mig Light or Pale Pills. What I figured out that I'll do is get San Mig Light and squeeze some calamansi in it. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm thinking that's the ticket. Awesome, Jester. Thanks, buddy. So I'm thinking you can get calamansi almost anywhere you go. So I'll get San Mig Light and squeeze calamansi into it, and I think I'll be golden. But the lemon San Mig is really good, actually. Now, if we're downstairs here, I get the Hoegaarden Rosé, which has got raspberry flavor to it. And before you say don't fruit the beer, it's an imported Belgian beer. And the reason for the raspberry flavoring is when they had a period of time in Belgium where they didn't have many beer glasses, they would use the jam jars from the raspberry jam. And it would usually have a little bit of leftover raspberry jam in it. So that's why Hoegaarden made the rosé. Okay, if Red Horse and Balut are the things I fail on being Filipino, so be it. But I do like San Mig, so, and a lot of people don't know it, but when I looked up information, San Mig and Red Horse are made by the same company. I'll probably try it again because there's been times where I didn't like something and I tried it again later and I liked it, but I can't even nail down what it is that bothers me about the flavor. I know I don't like IPAs. It doesn't taste like IPA. I know I don't like amber like an Alaskan amber. So I can't even compare it to other beers that I like or dislike. Where like San Mig, I would say is kind of like the lighter side of any of the major breweries like Bud, High Life, or things like that. I don't know what to compare Red Horse to. And I mean, if that's the main thing that's available and it's the cheapest, and it is, and it's higher ABV, then that's what the Filipinos are going to run. But I've experienced American beer, and I've experienced imported beer in the U.S. Yeah, I think it may be malt liquor. I just, something about the flavor. Now maybe there's something I can add to it. Colt 45, I've seen those. I don't think I've ever had it, but I've seen it. Yeah, I'll try it again, but so far cannot do the Red Horse. I was kind of hoping to be able to do it or adopt it, and maybe I can when I try it again, but the time that I tried it, I had a few sips, and I'm like, no. And I waited for a little bit and tried it again, and I'm like, still no. But that was one time, so I'll try it a few more times and see how it goes. Maybe it'll be something where, like when a lot of people first have wine, they don't like it, and then they, over time, get used to the flavor. Now I love like red wine, like Cabernet or Pinot Noir. But when I first had it, I was kind of like, I still don't like Merlot, but man, a good Cabernet or Pinot, especially if you have red meat, like a good steak or some chocolate dessert. Pinot or Cabernet Sauvignon are amazing for red meat and chocolate. 8 people, hit the like, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Coming up on 2.5 hours. 5:17. Still dark. Oh, tiny bit of light in the sky. Tiny bit. Not much yet. Still pretty dark. So the camera on the phone makes it look a lot brighter than it is. It's still not nearly as bright as that makes it look. Naked eye, it's much darker than that. Yeah, I'm not going to spend $200 for a bottle of Merlot. And you can almost always get a good Cabernet or Pinot. So, don't like Merlot, love Cab, love Pinot, love Moscato. That's the name I was trying to think of the other day. They've got Rossi out here, and they've got their white Moscato is not great. The pink is decent. The red is good. Red Moscato from Rossi is good. Carlos Rossi, I think it's from California. That's good. Interestingly, even better than the red Moscato is the Carlo Rossi Sweet Red. It, it wasn't sweet. I don't know how to describe it. I know some of you have had Red Horse too, but man, there's something in that flavor. I don't know if I can mask it by adding something else like calamansi. Plum wine sounds good. $7 a bottle. I love, so in the, before you leave the West there, look for a Barefoot wine. Barefoot has really good wines. It's cheap. The big bottles at Safeway are like $12. There's just something to me that is off that I haven't been able to get used to yet in the Red Horse. But like I said, San Mig is the same company that brews Red Horse and San Mig. So I'm still drinking Filipino beer. It's just San Mig side, not the Red Horse side. But I randomly thought of, because we were talking about Corona, I hate Corona, but I like adding, lime or orange to Blue Moon. That's pretty much my favorite beer. I really do like Hoegaarden beer, though. I'd already been drinking some Hoegaarden. Didn't have the rosé until I got here, but I saw it on the Total Wine website. Warren came over to the restaurant a couple days ago when she was doing a live stream downstairs, and had to try the Hoegaarden rosé, and he ended up having 3 or 4 of the things. It is super, super, super good. I think it's Hoegaarden that has the Vitus. That's another really good wheat beer. If you guys have never had it, get Modelo Negra. I tried the Especial. I don't like that. I know a lot of people are drinking Modelo Especial instead of Bud Light after the controversy last year. I tried it, didn't like it. The Modelo Negra is really good. It's dark, but it's not like a stout. It's a German Dunkel style beer, and that is very good. That's definitely one of my favorite beers, hands down. And it's usually relatively low priced. Alright, 2.5 hours, 7 people, 16 likes. Hit the like, guys. Likes are free. Guess what? Subscribing's free too. And if you don't want to get notifications after you subscribe, just go to none on the notifications. Just chipping away at these watch hours. I think I want to have like a Heineko shirt. I want to have I'm going to try and do something that gets the exclamation across with yelling, Tagaina! Let's go, boys! Because I was doing that when I was slamming Tanduai with her brothers. They thought that was hilarious, man. They were cheering, and they weren't laughing at me. They thought it was genuinely hilarious. They loved it. I really like her family. I was actually really bummed to leave. I wanted to stay another day or two in the province, but it's good that we did not, because the weather got worse, the flooding got worse, the wind got worse. We got through tropical storm level weather and got back here. Luckily the wind never really hit here, but the rain has definitely been up. But I grew up in Oregon and spent most of the last 30 years in Seattle, so I'm used to lots of rain. Now I'm used to rain being freezing cold. Here, rain is like lukewarm shower water, so, and with the air temperature being warm, even if I'm soaking wet riding on the motorcycle, I'm still warm. I'm not uncomfortable. About the only negative thing was in case we went down, I had my steel-toed boots on for riding long distance on the motorcycle, and my danners were filling up with water. I had like an inch of water, and it was just, as time went on, it was just getting more and more. But we got back and got the mud off, pulled the soles out, let them drain. Now they're dry. That's another reason that I've got to have air conditioning. Even if I don't need it cool, I want the dehumidification so you can dry stuff out properly. It's just drying stuff air dry. If it's high humidity, it may still feel semi-damp. So I at least need air con to dry things. Now, I've gotten it to where, like, overnight I'm running at about 24 Celsius, which is much higher, because when I first got here I was running 17 to 19. But even at 24, she's cold. Yeah, so I need the air con to dry the sandals, dry the boots, dry the helmet, dry the gloves. I brought with me that I didn't think of. I looked at the documentation for bringing knives, not like scary knives, but like a pocket knife or a dive knife, and it was very dicey on what's allowed. It was allowed to bring checked, but the laws in the Philippines make it sound like you can't really legally carry or anything unless it directly makes you money. So I opted to not bring them. Unfortunately, a bunch of the stuff that was set aside for either storage, shipping, or giving to Chip wasn't feeling good, so the guy that bought my house hired some guys that didn't know much English to help pack stuff out to the dumpster, and they threw away several $1,000s worth of stuff that should have been kept for me, storage, or to give to Chip. So you can check small knives. I wouldn't bring any kind of stupid knives, nothing that looks super dangerous. Is it permitted? It's questionable, but I definitely would have brought my little Cricut folder knife, and I would have brought my Leatherman. I'm afraid that thing got tossed too. That was one of the things that was set aside for Chip or to ship to me. And I've had that thing for probably 26, 27 years. And it's spent almost as much time at sea in a submarine hundreds of feet under the ocean as I have. And I think that probably got tossed or taken. So I would bring my Leatherman at a minimum. So I had a couple more tools. Bring my folder knife. I would have brought my axe head, which nobody seems to know where it is. I think it got thrown or taken. It's not stuff that is life-ending, but it would be nice to be able to. I could have brought it with me in a checked bag. I just would have to declare it. No big deal. I would have been fine to bring in, and I know that because Warren brought in his Cricut knife, which is a little smaller than mine, and it was fine. He just had to check it and declare it. So a few more of my multi-tool, like Leathermans and Gerbers and things, would be nice to have. Definitely have travel adapters. Definitely have power converters. I did have two 350 watt power converters to convert 220 to 110, 115. We have been using the aroma rice cooker, and it seemed, even though it was supposed to be 115, it was operating fine on the 220. But either a power fluctuation or trying to use the brown rice mode finally made it give up the ghost. So luckily that was only about $49, so I'll order another one, but this time it'll run off the power converter. 37C. Feels good when it's 35. Yeah, I'm already 24. I was almost getting a little chilly overnight, which is a very good thing, and that's hilarious for me. Because even when I lived in Hawaii, I didn't run it that warm. Because we lived in military housing, and at that time, military housing wasn't privatized yet. So when you had housing, your utilities were covered also. So had that air conditioning cranking in a 4-bedroom house 24/7. Nothing's been really shocking. Nothing life changing that I could have brought that I didn't. I was smart to bring like the 4 or 5 pairs of Keens closed-toed water sandals. I highly recommend those. They're very comfortable. I'm trying to think. Just definitely have travel converters, power converters. The 350, it's small, so it's easy to go in your baggage. Have one that's checked and one, I had two, one in my backpack and one in my suitcase. Definitely have a GoPro. I did have that with me. Now keep that in your backpack that will go on the plane with you. Even if you have a backpack and you have a travel or a carry-on, the long flight, that carry-on is going to end up getting checked even if it's at the gate, and they'll do that for free. Somehow that bag did not make it on the flight from Manila to Dumaguete. It came in the next morning. Everything was still in it. So we didn't lose anything, but if it had gotten lost, it would have been about $1,200 worth of GoPro equipment and my Fire Stick, which I haven't even been able to use the Fire Stick yet because I don't want to run it without a VPN. So once we get into a place that has internet and I can run my Asus routers, I'll find they're VPN capable, so I'll figure out what VPN I can plug it into, and then I'll be able to connect my Amazon Fire Stick Max to that and still watch US stuff. Right now we can watch it, but only running VPN through my phone apps. But there is not an Android Apple TV app, but there is an Amazon Fire Stick Apple TV app. So set those things up, update them, log into all the accounts in the US. When you come out, don't let it connect to anything that's not Wi-Fi that's on a VPN. So bring some minor tools with you, even if it's just a Gerber or Leatherman, little pocket knife. There's a bunch of other little things that I didn't think I could bring that I believe that I could, or that I had time to pack and ship, but just there was so much going on. There wasn't enough time to accomplish everything that I needed or wanted to accomplish before coming out earlier than expected. Some of it was stress level. I could have done a bit more, but I was just getting overwhelmed, so I was trying to manage stress and just get out here. But I can't really think of anything that's like vital that I didn't bring with me. A bit of paperwork that I wanted to set aside, and I think some of that got dumped. I still am waiting for my DD-214 to come in from naval personnel, because I need that for my SRRV. And if you're military and you're honorably discharged, you absolutely do want that DD-214 showing your honorable discharge. And the reason is this, and I did not know this, and it wasn't very clear. If you have no pension, you can get an SRRV, civilian SRRV, with a $20,000 deposit. If you have a pension, you can get one. I don't know, it's kind of still confusing on, that's a $10,000 deposit with the pension, but that had sounded like that was the military one. But the military one, the extended, what is it? It's extended consideration or something that they give for military. It's only like a $1,700 filing fee. There's no $10,000 deposit that you have to put if you're retired or honorably discharged military. And I think that does require that you have either a military requirement or I meet it because I have the VA disability money. But if you are honorably discharged or retired military, you do have that DD-214 for submission, because that's the difference between a $10,000 deposit and like an initial like under $2,000 filing fee, and then it's a cheap maintenance renewal fee every year. So there's other paperwork you need, but they say that it needs to be apostilled, which is like certified. It's a bit more than like notarized. I think you have to have it down at like the Secretary of State for your state or something office. It's an odd requirement that they have out here, basically to certify the paperwork. I mean, it makes sense to verify it's real, but so definitely, even if you don't have the paperwork with you, have a copy for yourself, have a copy for maybe that's with family or a good friend in the US, that so that, let's say like me, I came out and I'm not 50 yet, so I can't apply for the SRV yet. If it's something I need to have apostilled, I need that official copy in the US so they can go get that done. Probably give them a power of attorney. I didn't have that, but I think that's still workable. So give somebody power of attorney, limited power of attorney, have them hang on to your paperwork. Don't forget to give travel notifications to all your credit cards and your banks. And like Navy Federal, it's not a permanent notification. It's only good for 30. I think initially you can do 60 days and then it's like 30-day increments. So once a month I'll have to go in and keep extending my travel notification for my credit cards and debit cards from Navy Federal. I do have some other credit cards I hadn't done the notification on. I'll try and do it, or I'll just not worry about it and only use it for Amazon, because my billing address is still the US. I'm trying to think of things, just general things to throw out for people to do or to bring. I think I was pretty set. Just more time would have been good. But I did not feel as though I had that time available to me. I just needed to get the heck out of the US and get over here. We got 8 people, 16 likes. If the like guys subscribe. I'm probably going to go ahead and wrap this one up and maybe do another one in a bit. So I'll probably rest a bit and then maybe do another live here before too long. Maybe we'll see how I feel. I'm gonna take a break, use the CR. I could leave it running, but I think I'm better off to just restart another one. So I'm at 2 hours 15 minutes for now. I will probably be back before terribly long. We'll see. Maybe I'll lay down and end up falling asleep for a few hours, since I started this at like 2:45. I don't even know what time I started at. 2:30, 2:45 a.m. here. But I'll get off here and probably try and call my vet. I'm a little annoyed, so I may wait until tomorrow morning so I don't talk to them annoyed. But it is definitely difficult to accomplish things here for the US with the time difference. I'm 15 hours ahead of West Coast, 12 hours ahead of East Coast. So the more stuff you can do while you're there, so you're not having to be up in the middle of the night to try and handle it here, is good. Not all of that's possible, but you can do things to minimize it. But I will catch you guys again soon. Thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate everybody being in. Jester, thanks for letting it run while you're doing whatever work you're doing. And I will catch you guys again soon. Tagay na. Peace.